Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Avery. I'm 23 years old and I make videos about personal finance and budgeting. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. So in today's video, I will actually be budgeting my first paycheck of May, and I'm actually going to be doing something different. If you've watched any of my previous budgeting videos, you know that I typically, when I do a budget with me video, I usually have income from my full-time job, and I usually have income from a restaurant job. I work on the side. So if you've watched like one of my previous videos, you would see that I'm actually thinking about quitting the restaurant at the end of this month. So hopefully by the end of May, I will be done with that job, and I will just continue to focus on my full-time job and a job that I work sometimes. It's very contingent. The hours I basically get to set for at a bakery. So to prepare for that guaranteed income loss from the restaurant, I'm going to start budgeting separately, and then any remaining paychecks I get from the restaurant, I will do a separate budgeting video for, and I will treat it like it's extra income, because ultimately that's what it was to me. I wasn't like relying on the income, and I'm still not, like, in a way, but I need to get mentally prepared for it, the feeling of not having that income to budget. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about it, just let me know. Leave a comment down below. So from my full-time job, I bring in $1,208.25. And if you've watched any of my previous budgeting videos, you know the first thing I like to do is go ahead in my rent category and put money into whatever month I still need to fund rent for. So I've already funded May and I've already funded June. So technically I'm in July now, July 1st, because my rent comes out automatically on July 1st. However, I did get this idea from a commenter, I believe it's Aussie YNAB. So thank you for suggesting this to me. Since I'm so far ahead on my rent, I'm actually going to skip it for this paycheck. They actually suggested I do it when I have a 3 paycheck month, which should be like June or July. I'd have to double check. But I've decided to go ahead and do it now, and I'm just going to do it for this paycheck, and then starting with my second paycheck of May, I'll go back to funding my trusty old rent category. So you might be thinking, like, where am I going to put the money instead? And it's actually going to go towards my health, beauty, and clothing category. Specifically, I'm trying to get clothes because I just don't feel comfortable in the clothes that I own, and I feel like a lot of the clothes I own are very old and from like a pre-pandemic time. So my body, like a lot of people's, has changed during the pandemic, and I just don't feel comfortable in the clothing I used to own, or I own. So I'm trying very intentionally and to build up my like clothing over time, to pick quality pieces that I actually like, I will actually wear, and I like will have good value with them, so they won't like break down over time. So that does take a significant amount of money, and it does take time to like curate a collection of clothing that you feel comfortable with. I'm kind of thinking about doing like a capsule wardrobe, honestly, but jury's still out on that one. All that to be said, I'm gonna put $300 into the clothing category, so I actually have that squared away. So I will be buying some clothes this month, most likely. But again, I'm not trying to rush it, but I do need to have money in the category if I actually want to make any sort of purchases like that. Moving on, so I put $300 in there. So then moving on, I do have a haircut in the middle of June. I'm going to go ahead and finish out funding that now. I get a haircut twice a month typically, and it is quite expensive. I do go to like a curly hair specialist. I have curly hair, and I've learned over the years that I value not having terrible hair. Like, I've had some pretty rough haircuts over the years, and I honestly, the reason why was because I just prioritize saving money on it instead of prioritizing like finding someone who understands my hair and understands like how to cut it. That being said, with tip, the haircut's going to be $125. I already have $17.50 in there, so I'm going to go ahead and put the $107.50 that I still need into the category, and that has fully funded it. So something I'm going to mention is I do have this new like budget category group called Focus on Now, and these are the current things that I'm prioritizing with like any additional income in my finances. I decided to create this category after my budgeting while burnt out video, and I got a lot of suggestions on that video on what to do, and I thank everyone for that because that was actually very helpful for getting me out of a rut. But something I decided to do is create this category, and there's actually a corresponding category. I put it all the way at the bottom now. It's called Focus on Later, and it has different things that I need to focus on later. That way I'm actually like making progress towards my goals, and I'm not trying to juggle like too many hats at once or too many plates. What's the saying? I don't know. And how I remember to focus on later is I actually have scheduled transactions in my checking account that come through when I want to start focusing on those categories. Of course, if I fund any of the now categories sooner than anticipated, I will go ahead and start working on the later ones. But that's how I remind myself to like when I need to get kick-started. Like for example, in Christmas, and I do have a note on here as well, I want to start it in September. I do have some money in there because I was funding it on a monthly basis, but I decided to pause that, leave the money in there, and I'll just pick back up with it in September. Yes, so focus on now. All that to be said, since I finished the haircut, I'm actually going to move it. I'll probably do that after this video. I'll move it back down to sinking funds, I think. That way it's not in this space anymore. And I'm probably not going to pull anything up yet just because I want to make sure I'm getting my vacation and my emergency fund finished. And since those are larger goals for me, I'm not going to bring anything out of the later category to work on next. Just quite yet. Okay, so moving on, I'm actually underfunded for May. I think what happened was I know what happened. I went into June one time, like who knows? I feel like I'm constantly tweaking my budget. But I went to June, probably like a couple weeks ago, and I had like created some category, what's the word? Like monthly spending goals. And I think I had accidentally deleted them previously. So I had recreated them in June, but obviously that meant since it was April that May was like, well, it's underfunded. So I'm going to go ahead and fund those categories. I decided to put a $35 monthly spending target on my household fund just so I can have money in there. So I need $25.57. Let's go ahead and add that. I decided to up my dining out again to $125 a month. It's just with the summer months, I am eating out more. I know it's crazy, but like, it's just like when the weather is nice, you feel like you just want to be out and about more. Like yesterday, this is Monday, so on Sunday, I was actually like hanging out with my boyfriend. We were downtown and the weather was so beautiful. And I like being in the city. I don't know how to explain it. All that to be said, like, I need more money in dining out. I am trying to like reduce how often I'm eating out, but trying to make the times when I do eat out, like I allow them to be more expensive and like more meaningful to me. So it's about being intentional with my spending. And I'm underfunded $25. Oh yes. Okay. So the fun money, I forgot to put money in fun and I'm at $0. So it's a crisis. Let me put some money in there. So yeah, now I have $740.18 remaining. And let me check my notes here real quick. I think what I'm going to do before I focus on any of my financial goals, I need to put money in the future moving fund. I'm still going to put the $33.50 I like to put in there every paycheck into that category. So that's good. Is it? Okay, yeah. as I forgot what the balance was before. So $33.50 brings it up to just over $100. That's great. And then I'm going to go into June, and I'm underfunded by $620, and I'm actually just going to fund about half of this and see how I feel about it. So let's put $50 in the gas, $20 in auto maintenance. I reduced this. I just don't want to put as much money into auto maintenance. If I need to, I'll just float it from my emergency fund and grab money as needed. But I decided to reduce that category. And let's keep going. Let's open up subscriptions. Everything's funded. Stuff I forgot to budget for. I know it doesn't really matter, but I feel like I still like to pick and choose which ones I decide to fund in advance. Usually the most important ones, which is why you see like utilities. I always try to fund those like quickest along with rent, because no matter what, those are going to come out of my account, versus the more like nebulous categories like groceries and dining out that I have more control over my spending to an extent. I mean, groceries are very expensive now, but I do have some control over how expensive I make them. So yes, let's go ahead and grab laundry, grab household, keep going. We'll grab groceries. Let's stop there for now. All of that's funded. I love this underfunded button that they have on here. Oh, side note, I'm using a budgeting software called YNAB. It's short for YNAB Budget. I'll have a link down below if you haven't seen it before, that you can try out a 34-day free trial. I feel like I never mentioned that, and then people stumble upon my videos, and then they may not know what I'm even using. That's what I'm using. So in June, I'm underfunded by $315. Let's leave that for now. Let's go back into May, and let's see. Let's put money into let's put $98 at first into vacation. So I need $700 still. The vacation I'm specifically planning for is about a week in New York City. I've never been. I think it'd be great. So I did want to put money in there. And then let's put some money in my emergency fund. Excuse me. Let's put money in my emergency fund. Let's do 100. And then I know I need to start focusing somewhat on my student loans again. Something about when you decide to intentionally make less money, at least what I've been thinking about lately, is that you are intentionally deciding to what am I trying to say? You're intentionally deciding to reach your financial goals in a slower pace. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. I think with personal finance, you don't have to be, it's not healthy to like work all the time, to not have any free time. That's not healthy for you. You need more of a balance. Just like it's not healthy to put every last cent towards that payoff, you need to put money towards things that you actually enjoy, like, and that you look forward to, like vacation, or things that make you feel good about yourself, like having new clothes. And so that's what I've been thinking about lately, how even though if I stop working this job that brings in about $400 to $500 additional a month, that's not the end of the world. I'm really trying to have more of an abundance mindset, not just with personal finance, but with like my life. And I do think it's working out pretty well for me. I feel like I've always had a scarcity mindset, especially when it comes to personal finances. I grew up in a family that did not make a lot of money. My family's in a better place now, but I think growing up and experiencing like how it feels to not have the money you need to like pay your bills, not have medical insurance, you have to be on food stamps, things like that I have really internalized that lack of like safety and security. And I think it has shown a lot in a lot of my finance, like budgeting videos, how I am always trying to get ahead on things. And I just know for myself and my mental health that I'm not at risk of like losing all of my money anytime soon. And that thinking like that is not a good way to think. Sorry, I got on a tangent there, but student loans. I will put $100 in there. So there we go. We're at $3,380. I did hide all the categories of my student loans that I'm not focusing on. Student loans, I have federal student loans. I have a little over $22,000. They allegedly go back into repayment in September 1st, give or take. I mean, forbearance ends August 31st. Allegedly. Can't emphasize that enough. And I am trying to save some money towards them. I don't know if I'll be able to pay off my largest loan, which is a $6,000 5% interest rate loan. But I will keep working towards it. I'll keep chipping away at it. And then when I get closer to whenever the mystical repayment begins, I will just reevaluate then. So $100 into that category. I'm saving the money, and then as we get closer to repayment, I'll make a payment before the interest and forbearance period ends. We need to close focus on later. We don't need that. And let's put should we put $50 more into, let's put 50 more, I can't talk, 50 more into the emergency fund. I am currently trying to get this up to $3,000, and I'm not going to put any more money in vacation right now, simply because I know that I'm going to work at the bakery this weekend. So if I end up doing that and I end up working there, I'll have money I can put towards vacation, and I still have until September for that. So it's not the most urgent thing in the world at this time. Let's put more money into clothing. Does that feel right? Let's do $320. Okay, so, and then I want to go down to student loans again. Oh, yes. Let's put 20 in here. So we're at $3,400 saved. That's great. I'll have to update this in a bit, but then I'm going to put maybe $1,368 into the farmer's market. No, let's put it into fund money. And then if I decide to go to a farmer's market, I can shift the money from fund money. Yes, so all of the money has been assigned. I'm feeling good. Honestly, I'm feeling very optimistic about May. I think it's going to be a great month. I just did like a 7-mile bike ride before this. I'm feeling better than I have ever felt since the start of the pandemic. And I'm just very optimistic about everything. And I'm really looking forward to having more of my free time soon enough. I mean, I still have to work like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, but I'm still optimistic about that. I feel like there's opportunities at that job that every time I learn something new, you don't know what like gate that might open, or what potential job opportunity or like future career move that might lead to down the line. So I'm happy that I stayed with that job. I'm happy I decided to quit the restaurant, and I'm just so happy it's going to be summertime. I just love when the weather is nice. In the Midwest, you really need to be appreciative of when the weather is good, because it can be a little hit or miss sometimes. So it was a great day today. I hope you all are having a great week, and I will see you very soon for my next budgeting video. Bye now.